terrific is this opening poem. I really like this, and we thank Mrs. Doreen Barber of Tallahassee, Florida. Thank you for sending in that opening poem. Now let's get to the board. Janice and the team, if you will, load in the cards, and as you can see, we have a game in progress with these card sharks. Kris Kuba, our champion. Hi, Kris. That's a pretty blouse.
Well, thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Would you remind us about yourself?
Yes, my name is Kris Kuba, and right now I'm a student at San Diego State University, where I'm majoring in civil engineering and minoring in anthropology.
How did you decide to minor in anthropology of all things?
I don't know. You have to take something with all that chemistry and physics to keep sane, so it's fun. I enjoy it.
Good. And you're doing well here. You've won $1,600 in cash, right?
Yes.
Our challenger, Gary Snyder. Hi, Gary. Good to see you again.
Yes.
And would you remind us about yourself?
My name is Gary Snyder, and I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I came out here to Bakersfield, California, and I've got a degree in golf course technology.
Now, we talked about that briefly, but what do you study when you're studying golf course technology?
Well, we specialize in the golf course itself, irrigation, golf course construction, pesticides, insects, weeds, and diseases, landscaping.
There's a lot involved. I didn't realize
Yes, sir,
that.
there is.
Yeah, good.
Instead of going to a 4-year college, we go to a 2-year college.
Could you do something about my lawn, Gary?
Sure.
Wait, okay. Good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Each player has a deck of 52 playing cards. They are shuffled. The players cut them before we go on the air, and the upper cards, the red cards, will be played by the champion, Kris. The lower cards, the blue cards, will be played by the challenger, Gary. Before he can begin to call high-low on the cards, he must win a high-low toss-up question. Kris needs 1 card, Gary needs 3, and we are at sudden death. Someone has to win with this play of the cards. So the first game in the best 2 out of 3 match comes right down to this. As we left off, Gary, the question goes to you. We asked 100 marriage counselors, who usually has more problems in her marriage, a housewife or a woman who has a job outside the home? How many marriage counselors said a housewife has more problems in her marriage?
That's a pretty tough question. And the way women are liberated today, I'm going to have to say it's going to be a very small percentage, or small number of women. I'm going to say about 15.
Gary says that 15 housewives have more problems.
I think it's a lot higher than that, because I think a housewife would tend to be more closed-minded while her husband's out working. I think it's higher.
You say higher?
Right.
Well, if it is higher, Kris, you'll go to the board first. If not, it'll be Gary. And the actual number of marriage counselors who said a housewife has more problems in her marriage is 67. Kris. Wow.
Yeah.
Sudden death, Kris. You need 1 card to win. Gary needs 3. Do you want to play it or pass it?
A 9's not a very good card at all. I'm going to let Gary play it.
And Gary, you didn't win the question, so you cannot change the 9. You must play it and call all 3 correct for the win. 1 mistake, Kris wins. Call the first card.
I'm going lower.
Lower than a 9. Lower to 10. And Kris, in sudden death, wins the first game of the match. 1-0 favor the champion. She put the pressure on you. Gary's got to make a comeback right after we take time out for this. Can he do it? We'll find out. And the first game of the match to the champion. Let's deal out the cards. Same 2 decks of cards. You can remember what's been played. It might help. Kris.
Yes.
We asked 100 married women, if your best friend told you that she saw your husband at lunch with a beautiful woman, would you automatically assume he was guilty? How many women said they would automatically assume their husband was guilty?
I don't know if I'm typical, but I would automatically assume. I'm going to say 60.
60 would say he's guilty, Gary.
I think women are just as guilty of being jealous as men are, so I'm going to say a little bit higher.
Even higher than that? Yes. The actual number of married women who, if their husband had lunch with a beautiful woman, would automatically assume he was guilty is 23. Not higher at all. Kris. You gotta have faith. Kris, your base card. Is it true?
Yeah. That's a great card. The next card's got to be higher.
Higher than a 2? Yeah, an ace. Wow. Lower than an ace. It is a 10.
I got a freeze.
Freezing it there. We move the freeze bar over. Can't take those cards away from you. She needs just 2 more cards, Gary, for the championship. To you, Gary, we asked 100 showgirls at the Tropicana and Dunes hotels in Las Vegas, Nevada. Have you changed your hair color within the past year? How many showgirls said they had changed their hair color within the past year?
In the last year, I'm going to say about 50.
50. Half of them have changed their hair color.
I don't think changing your hair color is as fashionable as it used to be. I'm going to say say it's a lot lower than that.
A lot lower than that.
Yeah.
The actual number of Las Vegas showgirls who changed their hair color within the past year is 64. Not lower, Gary. Wow.
About time.
And that all-important base card. Gary, you've got a 5. Do you want it?
I'm going to change that 5.
You won the question. You have the right to change it to a king.
That's a good card. I'm going to go lower with that.
Lower than a king. With a 5.
I've got to go higher with that 5.
Risking the 5 in this one higher. And it is with a jack.
Jack. I've got to go. I'm going to go lower with that jack.
Lower than a jack. Yes,
Very good card. I'm going all the way.
To
I'm
tie up
going
the
higher.
match. Higher than a 3. Oh, no! And he loses all 4 cards. Oh, Kris, a chance to play off the 10 and call this.
It's got to be lower than a 10.
Lower than a 10. It is a 7.
I've got to freeze.
Needing just 1 card for the championship. And Gary, we got to fill them all back in again. To you, Kris. We asked 113-year-old girls, do you think it's okay to kiss on the first date? How many 13-year-old girls said yes, it was okay to kiss on the first date?
I'd say quite a few these days. I think about 69.
69 say yes. 13-year-olds kissing, Gary.
I think the younger generation is becoming a little more understanding of our laws and everything. I think it's going to be a little bit higher.
Even higher than that. The actual number of 13-year-old girls who think it's okay to kiss on the first date is 78. It's higher, Gary.
That's good. Let's try it one more time. We're going to go lower.
Lower than the king once again. No. Cards did not like you and Kris. A big chance for you to play off the 7 and call this.
I'm going to go higher.
If this is higher, Kris has the championship and she'll play the money cards for the win. No. Couldn't take advantage of it. Kris still needs just 1 card and we're at sudden death. Gary, we asked 100 married men, have you ever kissed your wife's feet? There's a name for that, isn't there? How many men said yes, they had kissed their wife's feet?
I'm just going to have to
I mean
say,
literally, rather than just the paycheck.
I don't know. I'd rather kiss somewhere else than her feet. I'm going to... I'll tell you. I'm going to say about 10.
10.
Yes.
Much more than that. I think a lot more guys get
The idea appeals to you, huh, Kris? You say higher.
more than 10.
The actual number of married men who said they've kissed their wife's feet is 42. Kris, again, you need 1 card. Gary needs them all. What are you going to do?
Got to give it to Gary.
Oh, that's good.
Gary, you've been down this route
I'll tell you,
before.
I've got to get it. So I'm
One
gonna
mistake and it's all over now.
I know.
Where are you going?
I'm going lower.
Lower than a king. You're 1/4 there with an 8.
I'm going to go lower again.
Lower than an 8. No! It's a queen and Gary, those cards didn't like you. I'll get that. Good luck with the outdoors, Gary. Gary Steiner, thank you, Gary. Kris, come on down here with me. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Kris will play the money cards right after we take time out for this. Back with our champion, Kris Kroeger, with $1,800. Are you ready to clean up now?
I'm ready. I'm going to clean up.
Let's open the board and get to the money cards. Come on, Kris. Kris, you just won $200 in the game. Yours to keep. Now with a brand new deck of cards all shuffled and cut, we're going to give you new money to play with, and this time you're going to bet that money. Starting on the bottom line, we'll give you $200 in these 3 cards. Your decision how you bet them. Move up to the second level, another $200 in betting money and 3 more cards. Your minimum bets always are $50 till you get to the top card, the big bet, where you must bet at least half the money. Kris, I want you to make a fortune now. Let's pay for that college education right now. Here's $200. And as in the game, you have a choice of 2 base cards on the bottom level. Remember, you can change your base card when you move up to the second level. And again, you can change the base card before you make the big bet. And we'll start off with an 8.
I'd like to change that 8.
Right up the middle.
Don't
I
want it.
can't say as I blame you. You got to play this one. I hope it's a good change. It is a 3. Very much a good change.
$200 higher.
Right away, the whole thing. $200 higher than a 3. And she's right with a 7. $400 now, but you're looking in the middle card.
$100 higher.
$100 bet on the 7. Higher? Yes, with a 9. Still flirting around the middle, but $500.
$100 that it's lower than a 9.
$100 lower than a 9. Yes, to the 4. Up to $600. We move the 4 up. We give you another $200. You've got
Great
$800.
card. I'm going to keep it. It's a good low card. I'm going to bet $700 that it's higher than a 4.
Wow, $700 higher than a 4. I hope you're right for $700 bet. Yes, great. $1,500, but now you've got that middle card, an 8, Kris.
$100 that it's higher. We got to see some face cards.
Yeah, we don't see any face cards here at all. So $100 higher than an 8. That's a little better. Sorry we couldn't give you a face card, Kris. You don't mind the ace, do you?
$1,600 lower.
The whole thing, $1,600 bet. All or nothing lower than an ace? Yes, $3,200. We move the jack up. Kris, do you want to play that or change it?
I've got to play it.
You must bet $1,600, Kris.
I'm going to bet everything that it's lower than a jack.
I hope you're right. You will have nothing or $6,400 if this is lower than a jack. No. How come you bet it all on the jack?
It's a nice high card.
There are 4 queens, 4 kings, and 4 aces, and 3 more jacks. That's 15 cards, Kris.
I know, I'm a bad person.
No, it just cost you some money, but maybe you'll do it again. Come on down here, Kris. You're a gambler. What the heck? It's only money, right?
That's right, only money.
Kris will meet a new challenger right after this commercial break.